Hello, 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 everyone. Bill Murphy here from the Sports Insanity Network, and welcome to another edition of Murphy's View. Well, it's that time of year, the Super Bowl. As we watch the big game, we also indulge on pizza, on wings, on nachos, on chili, on alcohol if you're 21 and over and you're not driving, and on soda for the under 21 crowd. It's a day of indulgence, but then unfortunately the next day you got to deal with the consequences, whether it be indigestion, hangovers, or lack of sleep. Those are the after effects on Super Bowl Monday. And what makes this matter worse, adults, you have to go to work. Kids, you got to go to school. But there's been an age-old debate, and I think it's fitting that we bring it up now. And that is, should Super Bowl Monday or the day after the Super Bowl be made a holiday where people don't go to work, they don't go to school, so they can have the day to recuperate from the festivities of the night before? Well, I'll tell you what I think, and we'll explore both options, and we'll see where that goes. I'm going to straight up say it. I think Super Bowl Monday should be a holiday. Reason being, it's a part of our culture. Football and sports are a part of our culture. And I think Super Bowl Sunday is a celebration of that culture. And I get it. Not everybody is into sports. Not everybody watches football. But, could be for people who are not into sports. Like, I'll give you an example. If you're into music, there's music performances throughout the day. They're probably going to the night. You want to stay up and watch that. Or if you have a favorite TV show and on the network where the Super Bowl is being aired, they'll probably air that show or a new show. Like, for instance, Fox is doing this new Gordon Ramsay show in what's called the leadoff show, which they air it right after the Super Bowl, and you may want to stay up late for that. But in all the practical sense, I think Super Bowl Monday needs to be a holiday because, in all honesty, I think workers need it. Because in 2020, an estimated 17.5 million employees missed work on Monday and caused employees to lose an estimated $4 billion due to decreased productivity, according to the Workforce Institute study. And this is actually this record absenteeism may have started the argument that the day after the Super Bowl ought to be a national holiday. Or from Business News Daily, in last year, an estimated 8 million or more said they would take a pre-planned day off on the Monday after the Super Bowl. Overall, a total of 16.1 million said they might punt on work that day, suggesting that they would call in sick. And that was from the Workforce Institute at UKG, and I found this in Business News Daily. Because the day after the Super Bowl, workers are tired. They've been up all night. They probably overindulged a little too much. And they, and that's really going to cut into worker productivity. Not much is going to get done. And people who call out sick, employers are going to lose money. Last year was extremely difficult because the Super Bowl was the day before Valentine's Day. So therefore, you had a combination of people who were calling off to sleep off their Super Bowl hangovers, and maybe some people who want to have who maybe took the day off so they can have a nice romantic Valentine's Day with their spouse or partner. So you got to think about those things of why Super Bowl Monday should be a holiday. You don't want employees dragging you down that day, and you want employees when they're at their best. And that is why I think Super Bowl Monday should be a holiday, so people can be fully refreshed. But now there's also when there's a yes side to an argument, unfortunately, there's a no side to this argument. I actually did a poll on a couple different Facebook pages. One was my own personal page, in which 3 people responded, and 2 out of 3 of those said it should be because it's America's other favorite pastime. And someone else, the person who answered no, said the only big party in the state is the team who is celebrating. If it's you to party much watching the game, it's on you. And if you're feeling the next day, there's no reason to close the bank and office and other places over one game. Suck it up and go to work the next day. Okay, I can see what that person means. I can see what that person means. But I also did a poll on a sports Facebook page that I'm on called Goats and Pros. And I asked the question in a poll, should Super Bowl Monday be a holiday? 62%, surprisingly, said no, while only 38% said yes. And some of the answers are absolutely not. We're all adults. Either plan ahead and use your PTO or pace yourself so you can work the next morning. However, I do believe the game should be moved to Saturday. Now, that is a point I will touch upon in a bit. And somebody said, I get the argument that it's celebrated by millions and people host parties and big family gatherings for the Super Bowl, but I don't think it's significant enough for the majority country to take a day off. Yes, you do have those people who aren't into football, like I said. And also, and somebody else, okay, this is a really interesting story that somebody posts. It goes, I don't think it should be a holiday, but I have a kind of cool story supporting it. I lived in Japan for 4 years growing up. So Super Bowl was actually Monday morning or early afternoon. They gave us off school, and most of the base went off as well. And we were able to have Super Bowl Monday the same way it's celebrated States as Sunday. Well, that was cool. And with it being on a Sunday for most Americans, I don't think Monday should be a holiday. If people want to use their personal or sick time to take it off, that's their prerogative. I will say I live on the West Coast, so the game starts at 3:30 our time. I may feel a little different if it started at 6:30 and ended closer to 10, but that probably wouldn't sway my opinion overall. And a lot of people have brought up the idea of moving it to Saturday, which I think was an interesting idea, and we'll talk about that. But do I think it's going to be a national holiday? If you want my realistic opinion, I don't think it's going to be a national holiday anytime soon. But what do you think can be done till then? Well, things can be about it at a state and local level. Like, for instance, in Tennessee, just this week in Tennessee, they introduced a bill that would make Super Bowl Monday a holiday, swapping out with Columbus Day. I think that's a, I think, I think that could be very interesting. And we got to see how the state of Tennessee votes on that. And, or other smaller municipalities, like I said, the local cities, like last year in Cincinnati, the Cincinnati school district closed. The Cincinnati school district closed the next day because the Bengals were in the Super Bowl. And also some areas near Philly, like in South Jersey, have announced that some of their school districts will be given a 2-hour delay on the day after the Super Bowl, since the Eagles are in the Super Bowl. Like, I could see that. That's a, in like the local areas where the team is affected and you want to give them the day off, or start later. I think that's a very fair solution. But what else can be done if it's not a national holiday? What about for everyone else? And a lot of the pattern that I saw in the answers that I was just reading off to you, move the game to Saturday. I think that would be absolutely a great idea. And my father, shout out to Papa Murph, said the same thing, move the game to Saturday. Therefore, you have a whole Sunday to recuperate. You have a whole Sunday to recuperate. If you are an adult who has to go to work, or you're a child who has to go to school, you have a whole day to recover, and you'll be good to go to school or work on Monday. Another thing that we could do is maybe employers should be offering their employees floating holidays. Now, for those of you who don't know what a floating holiday is, a floating holiday is, let's say you have to work. Okay, some do it for the major holidays, some only do it for 4th of July, Thanksgiving, Christmas, New Year's. Some do it for like the smaller or the more minor holidays, like Veterans Day or Martin Luther King Day or President's Day. Some do it for both. But a floating holiday is if you're given the option to go into work, let's say Martin Luther King Day, since that's the one that's closest to the Super Bowl. Let's say you go into work on Martin Luther King Day, which this year was on January 16th. Some workplaces when it comes to floating holidays give you a 30-day limit to use it. So let's say you use Martin Luther King Day, you go in for work and you get a floating holiday. So that means within those 30 days, you can use that floating holiday and take a day off. So in that hypothetical, you would have until February 16th to use your holiday. So people might use that floating holiday to take off Super Bowl Sunday, or maybe they'll use it since Super Bowl Monday this year's the day before Valentine's Day, maybe people will use it to spend some time with their significant other. Yeah. Or workplaces maybe can make Super Bowl Monday a holiday, and for those who wouldn't take the day off or don't care about football, maybe you can give the bonus of having them using a floating holiday. And they can use the day and they would have to use it within 30 days. So there's solutions in the workplace to answer this question, if it should be a holiday or not. Because, like, again, realistically, I don't think it's going to happen. in 2013, there was a petition to the White House, but it did not get enough signatures. So that might not happen for a very long time. So, yeah, those are my thoughts on why I think Super Bowl Monday should be a holiday and the solutions we can do if it's not. If you like, you know what? Most importantly, tell me your thoughts in the comments. Do you think it should be a holiday? If you like what you see here, and why wouldn't you? Because this content's amazing. Go to www.thesportsinsanityNetwork.com. Follow us on Twitter at SInsanityReal. And check us out here on YouTube at the Sports Insanity Network. Like, comment, subscribe, and hit that bell. I'm Bill Murphy for the Sports Insanity Network. This has been another edition of Murphy's View. Thank you for watching. Stay safe and take care.